Good morning, and thank you once again for joining me this Thursday on Voluntary Virtues. This is a conversation with Kelly Diamond, and you can catch me here every Thursday at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Time, Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Also, my written word rolls out every Monday on globalwealthprotection.com. So, how about Baltimore? Another city on fire with riots and I guess a lot of social tension. And they're coming a little closer together. I mean, whatever you want to think about them, the thing is that these, I mean, if I were getting flare-ups like this on my body at this kind of frequency, I'd be checking. I would ask my doctor what the hell's wrong. You know, these are these are symptomatic of something very wrong and very sick in our society. And I understand that people are frustrated. You know, we can. I mean, and likewise, if we were to look at a symptom like a rash on a person, we can be disgusted with it. We can be put out by it. We have it, right? We can irritate it. We can do all sorts of things, but it doesn't actually address what's causing that outbreak, right? So the question is, how do we address that? Having an opinion about it is all well and good, and you're certainly entitled, but what do we do? I mean, because I don't know if I'd want society to keep flaring up like this. I mean, I don't. I don't know if any. I mean, I certainly don't see people wanting this. I think it's just something that escalates out of a situation that already has pre-existed for a while. When you have cancer, you don't get cancer like that and you find out about it the next day. It's not like a 3-day incubation period like the flu. It's something that gradually happens. The cells start to mutate. You don't catch it right away. Next thing you know, your T cells are low. But this was happening for years leading up to that. Years. I mean, when my uncle found out that he had stage 4 bone marrow cancer, clearly he had bone marrow cancer long before he found out about the stage 4 level. I mean, you don't just wake up one day with stage 4 bone marrow cancer. And likewise, society doesn't just wake up one day really pissed off. And like in any other relationship, people don't just wake up one day and just say, you know what, you were cool yesterday when I went to sleep, but I woke up today and you're just really pissing me off. I'm the fuck out. Oh, no. This stuff was fomenting for a while. Okay. Little things were adding up. And whether you want to acknowledge them or not, that's a separate issue. Although if you don't acknowledge those things, then you're going to have a hard time coming up with a solution. A hard time coming up with a problem-solving solution that's lasting. So my opinion, like about all acts of violence, is that if it's not done in self-defense, it's rather futile and unnecessary. I know. I think that opinion comes from the low level of melanin I have, because clearly white people don't think that violence is necessary unless there's a sporting event. Or so I've been told. I say this from a place of privilege, right? I've been espousing nonviolence long before Baltimore and Ferguson, but never mind that I have this philosophy and that I believe we should practice what we preach, right? I should be more sympathetic, is what I was told. I should be more sympathetic towards the rioter and the protester, because they live in these conditions that build up this tension and this pressure, and it was inevitable that this would happen. It could have been you as easily as it could have been anybody else, is what I'm told. Well, I'd like to put that to rest, all of that. Yeah. I think that while I fully understand how frustrated these communities must be, okay, I understand it. I empathize with it. I don't have to be black to know that a militarized police force and the oppression of the state is wrong. You don't got to be black to understand that. In fact, you have to just be objective. It has nothing to do with the melanin of your skin. It has nothing to do with your racial experience in society. It has to be whether you're paying the fucking attention. Are you paying attention to the stories that are rolling out? Are you reading what's happening out there? Case after case of police abuse and police violence and overstepping their boundaries and tiny routine traffic stops escalating to death and hospitalization and cavity searches. You don't gotta be black to read. You don't gotta be black to see. Okay? And you don't have to be black to piece that shit together and know that it's wrong and be upset by it and want it to stop. Okay? Don't gotta be black for that. I know, because I'm not black, and yet I still managed to come to that same conclusion. In fact, none of this requires you to be of any racial persuasion. Okay? It has to do with whether or not you can isolate what the problem is, and then likewise isolate what the solution is. So, on Facebook, I had likened this to a 2 or 3-year-old throwing a tantrum. And it wasn't to condescend the community and say, oh, it's so childish what they're doing. While it is childlike, okay, it's not childish in the sense that they're immature. It's childish in the sense that if you were to truly understand what a child goes through at 2 and 3 years old, okay, everybody calls it the terrible twos and they think it's for the parent. It's not the terrible 2s and 3s for the parent. It's the terrible 2s and 3s for the child. I know nobody tries to think about that. Everybody thinks, oh, kids, whatever, whatever, they're learning. So whatever it is, they're fucking up. It's the parent that suffers. No, the parent doesn't suffer. The parent doesn't suffer, the child suffers. And why does the child suffer the terrible 2s and 3s? Because they know just enough to get certain things that they want now. They know how to process the thought process of, I want this. I can either point to it. Oh, they're telling me if I say it like this, if I make this sound, I'm telling them what it is, and then they'll give it to me. And so they're learning this connection. They're learning to communicate. They can say several words. They can string sentences together. And so they have this ability, right? They have the mental ability to isolate what they want and figure it out and say, oh, I want this. And then in some cases, they figure it out. They're very proud of themselves. But in many cases, they can't. And that frustration of knowing that there's something wrong and there's a problem and they don't know how to explain it and they can't express it. When they cry and they get upset, it's because they have such a limited vocabulary and such a limited means of communicating. And they're still developing their reasoning skills and their critical thinking skills. And to them, it's the end of the fucking world. And everybody thinks, oh, they're overreacting, such an overreactive child. No, no, no. This is what they're feeling. This is the frustration they feel in their 2s and 3s. If you want to experience it for yourself, go learn conversational levels of language and then go immerse yourself in that country where nobody else speaks your native tongue. Yeah, you can figure out where the bathroom is. You can figure out where the restaurant is. You can't negotiate a price. If something happens to you and you have to explain to a doctor what's hurting, you can't do that, right? You try to explain to somebody how you feel. If somebody wants to engage you in a political conversation, you're fucked. So you'll never be able to truly engage and express yourself to anybody with any significance. That's the frustration. Okay? Now, that same frustration that a toddler feels and that you would feel if you only had this much of a language at your disposal, imagine that same level of frustration building up in these cities. I know there's something wrong. I don't like what's happening here. I don't know how to fix it. Nobody's paying attention to me. This is exactly what a toddler goes through. Toddlers are constantly dismissed. Mom, 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 dad, 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 mom, dad. Nobody's listening. Yes, dear, yes, dear. In just a moment, We'll get to it. Mom, dad. Yes, 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 dear. Yes, yes. I know, you're sweet. Oh, come here, give us a hug. Nobody's listening. Nobody's solving. Nobody's doing anything. Next thing you know, kids crying. Well, what the fuck are you crying about? What happened here? What do you mean, what happened here? They've been trying to get your attention. They're upset, and nobody has listened to them. Nobody has tried to help them solve the problem. That's exactly what a riot is. A riot is a social tantrum. A tantrum that everybody fucking knew was coming. Had we been listening, right? Had we been paying attention, had we not just been trying to appease these people? Oh, okay, fine. Here's some food stamps. Okay, here's some Section 8 housing. Oh, you need free daycare. Here's your free daycare. Whatever. Okay, that's fine, dear. Yes, yes. So I'm listening to these assholes say, what the fuck else can we give them? We've given them everything. No. You've tried to appease them, is what you've been trying to do. You've been trying to appease them and shut them up. You've been treating them like domesticated dogs and giving them fucking treats. How many fucking pieces of candy do you think you can throw their way before they finally just sit there and say, I got a stomach ache and I'm still pissed that my needs haven't been met? The answer was never social programs. The answer was never welfare to begin with, because the problem was never going to be fixed by social programs. Because the problem is the very entity that provides the goddamn program. First of all, the programs trap them. They create dependency. They're oppressive by nature. They're a leash. Next, because they're feeling the frustration of that oppression and that control, but they don't understand that that's what's happening. They're pissed. We've tried everything. No, haven't tried everything. The one thing you haven't tried, and I think is quite manifest and obvious, is that the state hasn't tried to just leave people alone. I know. There's no way to really draft a bill like that because it's in the negative. Just don't do shit. Leave them alone. Now, the parent, you have two squabbling siblings. Leave your brother alone then. Go to the other room if it's so fucking bad. Right? I'm not going to force you guys to talk it out. You guys aren't being level-headed right now. So we're not going to have a conversation about it. One day we will, when you've cooled off. But for now, go to the other fucking room. Right? You separate them. And then later when you're talking it out, you say, look, if you keep antagonizing your brother, he's going to antagonize you back. You need to leave each other alone. If you want something, ask for it nicely. And if you can't ask for it nicely or he won't give it to you, then come to me. Right? This is human relationships. This is not some deeply profound thing. So then we're told, well, the riots are fully justified. How can you value property over people? Well, I kind of value both, because to me they're one and the same. Freddie Gray is killed. So now I need to destroy all of this property here. I need to go set fire to my fucking neighborhood. So no. And I understand there are actually peaceful protests in Baltimore as well, and the media is probably just isolating and picking out certain riotous areas. I understand that. Okay. But Rioting shouldn't be happening at all. Looting shouldn't be happening at all. What's going to happen is, and I'm telling you this because every fucking riot ends the same way. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the actual definition of insanity. And people keep doing this. What's going to happen? You're going to set your shit on fire. You're going to loot all your buildings. The businesses are going to claim their insurance and they're going to go somewhere else. New businesses are sure as fuck not coming into your town. Don't believe me? Look at Detroit. Look at South Central Los Angeles. You're not going to have investors. Detroit is just now starting to get investors, and the reason why is because their state's crumbling, because their government is crumbling. Okay? That's why investors are coming, because they know the state can't do anything to them. The government can't do anything to them. Too fucking broke and broken. But nonetheless, if you go to certain parts of South Central Los Angeles, you will see the same damage that was done back in the '93 riots after Rodney King. Nobody's reinvesting in your ass. Nobody's going to reinvest in your city. Okay? No businesses, not the city. Then, because you decided to be unruly assholes, they decided to double down on their police force, which is really doubling down on the problem, but that's not the point. I'm telling you about cause and effect. It's not about whether it makes any sense. It's about the fact that that's what's going to happen. They're just a bunch of criminal thugs. Okay, well then I guess we need to double down on our police force. They're not listening, but they're not listening because you're communicating in the most irrational way possible. Okay. They weren't, and let's, I mean, if we take it just as, you know, the toddler. First you asked, Mom, 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 Dad, Dad, Dad. Nobody listened, right? You tried to ask. Nobody listened. Now you're screaming, you're throwing a tantrum. No one is listening. Well, how do I get them to fucking listen? Yes, indeed. How do we get them to fucking listen? And I've been thinking about this. And I think it's a combination of two things. Okay? I'm trying, and I don't know if this is necessarily it. But I'll tell you what. This is not like revolutions that actually have a leader at the helm and some brains behind the action and with some sort of strategic backing. This is just random acts of violence concentrated in a certain geographic area. First of all, I think it's important to understand your relationship. Each area, each demographic, each market area has a certain relationship with its government. Okay? You never see this shit happening in white suburbia. That's right. You don't. But I think that the segregation, the racial segregation, is more of a de facto thing. It's an economic thing, is my theory. Here's my working theory. Why is it that black people are constantly hauled off to our jails in these poor neighborhoods? I'll tell you why. Because you don't have any fucking money. That's why. What good are you? I can write you a fucking ticket for $500, not like your poor ass is gonna pay for it. You don't have any fucking money. I can't write you tickets. I can, however, use your black ass as a pawn for my career. I'm an up-and-coming prosecutor. I need some callers. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build my fucking career criminalizing everybody in this fucking neighborhood. And every conviction that I get makes me look really awesome, and then eventually I can run for judgeship or the district attorney. You're great for my career. Well, I'm an up-and-coming public defender. And every time I get somebody off, my career gets a little notch on its bedpost. Well, I'm a judge, and I want to get the fuck out of this place. So I'm gonna crack down on crime, and then people are gonna love me, and I'm gonna get nominated to move up the judge ladder so I can get out of this shithole. I really need to make detective. I'm fucking tired of working a goddamn beat, writing tickets and bullshit. I want to be detective. I'm gonna go make my fucking numbers and I'm gonna lick some fucking boots. Well, I'm sheriff and I need to be reelected. Well, I'm the chief. I'm the police commissioner, and I need to play the politics and bridge the gap between my guys in blue and the mayor. There's a whole network of government careers at stake, all contingent upon fucking with you. Not so much in white suburbia. I'll tell you why. You're worth more in jail if you're poor. You're not worth as much in jail when you're affluent. When you're affluent, it makes more sense to me as the city to just ding you with fines and otherwise send you on your merry way. Which is why you will find in white suburbia that we are regularly pulled over for the most paltry shit. Oh, you're driving in the carpool lane with one man only? You need at least two. Sorry, that's a $271 ticket. Plus all the fines makes it about $874.67. Thousands in revenue. Creating slush funds for these assholes so that they can do more shit. Right? Why on earth would you take somebody who makes $120,000 a year and put him in jail for possession? When you can have Mr. $120,000 a year continue to drive to work every day and give him a fucking ticket. Long game. The long game on this guy is, I'm not going to get anything. I can't convict. I can't convict this shit. Not out here. I'll just keep writing those ass tickets. All right. All your rich asses tickets. And this has nothing to do with class warfare. Okay. This has to do with the nature of the state. The nature of the state is, and the nature of the relationship that these various sectors of society have, is that there needs to be a benefit to the state. The state must benefit. How is it going to benefit? Well, if it's not going to benefit because you have no economic pull whatsoever, and they're practically taking care of your ass, then all you're good for is a career. They're going to make their money somehow. If it means they get to move up the ladder, then I guess that's how they're going to do it. But the state needs something from you and wants something from you. And if you can't give it in treasure, then you're going to give it in fucking blood. Period. One day when you get out of the ghetto, you can be promoted to wallet for the state rather than pawn for the state. But then eventually you get to move up to scapegoat. That's where suburban white people are looking and saying, oh, one day I'll be able to make $1 million or $500,000 a year, and then I won't have to be the wallet anymore. I can just be the scapegoat. We have aspirations of building our way up in our fucked up relationship with the goddamn government, okay? And you need to know where your place is with the state. And with the state, when you're poor, is you are essentially a pawn for somebody's career. Or you're just basically their fucking punching bag. Right? So, understanding that, what can we do to mitigate this? Well, where I'm at, okay, it's a matter of knowing your rights, knowing the law better than they do, and always having a camera going. Because I'm getting pulled over all the time. Right? That's the threat. The threat for me is that I'm going to get pulled over. And I'm not necessarily worried for my life. I am in the back of my head. My stomach sinks and I'm freaked the fuck out. But I know that homeboy's not going to kill me. He wants my money. He wants my compliance. He wants a yes, sir. But I'm not going to give that to him. I'm not going to lick his hand and sniff his ass. I'm going to shut up until I'm legally obligated to say something. I'm going to video record everything that he says and does. I'm going to remind him of what my rights are and have that on record so that when I play it back to the judge in court, I will be able to say, you already violated my rights here. Everything thereafter is fruit from the poisonous tree. Let my ass go. Right? I don't know if it's always going to work. It probably won't. But that's what I do. What do you do in the ghetto when your life is in fact in danger? It's knowing your rights, having a video camera going, knowing the law better than they do, and then one extra layer. One extra layer. The same solidarity you're calling for now during the riots needs to be there every fucking day. Fair weather activism is not an option. Y'all aren't coming together once a fucking year. This isn't a goddamn reunion. This is your life. Your life must be lived in solidarity. So when you see a cop pull somebody over, the community should be dropping its shit, gathering around that car, and explaining to the police officer, I know what the cop to citizen ratio is, and there's no amount of backup you can call for. Carry on with your business peacefully while we watch and make sure you do. If you don't, you're a dead man. And you're not putting the entire city of fucking Baltimore behind bars. I know this. We will break this system because we understand that there's only so much fucking pressure it can take. You don't have enough jail cells for the entire city of Baltimore. So we're not all going to jail. But your ass is going to be dead. Do what you need to do peacefully while we watch. The entire city will be watching you. And because somebody's got a camera that uploads to Banduser, a lot of people will be watching you today. Every fucking time. In fact, I will say there have been community organizations for domestic abuse victims. And one of the solutions that they had was that they would send somebody home with the woman who was being abused. They wouldn't do anything. They just sleep on the couch as a presence. The domestic abuse rate went down. Even after the person left, they stayed for a couple of weeks, and then after a couple of weeks they'd leave. But the man always knew that that person can come back. So they either broke up or he stopped. That was what they found. That was what they found. Turns out that when you have numbers, peaceful numbers, in the moment, not just protesting, I'm talking about in the moment, when shit's going down, when you've got numbers of people all flocked there, just standing there and watching. What's going to happen, sir? Don't wait until some shit's going down. Shit might go down, which is why you want to prevent the shit from going down. You don't want it to escalate to that place. But every fucking time a cop pulls somebody over and you see it, there is nothing more important happening in your life that day. You drop your shit, you go. Everybody gathers around. The moment you see those blues go on, you didn't just pull that guy over. He pulled the whole fucking city over. That's the solidarity. Every fucking day. I'm late to work. Why? Somebody got pulled over. That's all you need to know. Somebody got pulled over, could have blocked up traffic. There's nothing you could do. Somebody got pulled over. You could have been pulled over with them. You don't know. I got a ticket today. You did get a ticket today. Solidarity says you did. Right? This, every minute. Why is it that markets and states that have low gun restrictions and high gun ownership have low violent crimes? Because the criminals know you're armed. Why would I do that when I can go to fucking Washington, D.C. where everybody's fucking unarmed? Chicago, everybody's fucking unarmed. It's illegal to have a gun, so all the law-abiding citizens don't have fucking guns. Right? There's hardly a violent crime rate in fucking New Hampshire and Vermont. There's a low violent crime rate in Texas. Why? Because the private citizens are armed and ready to fuck you up. You treat criminals like criminals. That's who cops are. They're criminals. Every time they come to knock on your fucking door and fuck you up, and every time they pull you over, you show them that you're ready. But it takes that kind of everyday community action to send that message and say, look, you don't listen. You're pissed. I don't trust you. No, I'm not going to step back. And you know why? Because I've got about 20 other people behind me who aren't willing to step back either. So you're going to have to kill all of us. Is that what you're going to do? Every fucking time you pull somebody over for a fucking speeding ticket and a broken taillight? No, asshole, you're not. I've seen videos of people who have just descended on a couple cops. They back off. Once you realize the ants are more plentiful than the crickets get the message. Not worth it. It's not fucking worth it. You don't have to kill a cop. It's never going to come to that. He's too chicken shit. He's a fucking coward at the end of the day. He's a bully with a gun. It's a fact. He's a bully with a fucking gun. He doesn't want to get killed. He's afraid at the end of the day. He plays all tough because everybody fucking cowers. Stop cowering. And quit leaving people and quit isolating people and saying it's his problem. Pretty great? It's his problem? Well, it became everyone's problem, didn't it? It's always everyone's problem because it could be you next. If you're living in a city like that, you're next. Because once Freddie's gone, whose number's next? They're going to draw a fucking lottery? Your shit might be next. You need to get indignant about him now, and then you need to get indignant about anybody who gets pulled over and harassed and extorted by these rogue pirates. Let no police interaction with the public go unchecked. You're always there. Go about your business, go to work, take care of your kids, whatever, but when you see the fucking lights go on, your shit runs. To it. Not away. To it. Everybody should be doing this. Shop owners. Stay-at-home moms. Working dads. Singles. Children. Everybody shows up. Everything is a fucking event. What are you doing here? This is none of your business. Oh, it is my business. Because when shit like this happens, I'm only about three little steps away, 3 moves away from my city being on fucking fire. And a kid being dead. You've shown that to me. You show me that you can't behave. So what the fuck's going on because you've got one of my cousins here? Well, you need to step back. No, I don't need to step back, actually. I need to get involved. I need to get involved. You work for me. Not only do I need to get involved, we all need to get involved. You pull him over, you pulled us over. What's up? How about you explain these charges to all of us so we can hear it? And that way, when his recording plays, it matches up with what you write down on a piece of paper. I'm going to call for backup. And I'm going to call for backup. My population is bigger than yours, sweetheart. Just do what you need to do and go on your merry fucking way. That's what you need. That's going to solve the problem. Because eventually it's going to get like New York. It's not worth it for me to pull these people over. It's not worth it for me to do this petty shit. I'm not going to be petty with these motherfuckers. I'm going to wait until something actually goes down. And maybe I won't. Maybe the cops won't even show up for that anymore. Maybe the cops don't even show up for murders and fucking, you know, and robberies and whatnot. Good. Let them leave you alone. Make them irrelevant. You'll figure it out. Try to figure it out yourself. Peacefully. I tell people in white suburbia, don't fucking call the cops. You don't need them. Solve your own shit. Solve your own shit. Show them that you don't need them. Tell them they're not welcome. And you can do this peacefully without ever fucking lifting a finger. The numbers alone would be too intimidating. That's my personal thing. I would love to see it tried. I haven't. No community organizer has taken it upon themselves to have this long-standing protocol in place and call for that. But there have been instances where domestic abuse cases have used this tactic and it's worked. I would like to see it used on a larger scale. I think it would work. For what it's worth. We'll catch you next week. Bye.